as Trump has said all along, everyone expects America to come in and fight for them.
Yep.
If we're in trouble here in Australia, who do you think we're going to call on to help us?
Exactly.
Just think about that. Who? There's only one country. It's America.
Yep.
And what have we done to prop up our own defence here in Australia? Albanese keeps saying no more money in defence. It's all right for him to put the billions into...
Because he's got to give it to Lakemba. He's got to give it to the NDIS agents.
Climate change, transmission lines, the Snowy 2 scheme, $40 billion there, or keep propping up scams that go with the NDIS.
Oh, she said it. I haven't watched this. There you go. A politician actually calling out the scamming going on in this country. Wow. G'day everyone, welcome back to another video. Now, Pauline Hanson has been out there speaking about the Iran war and Donald Trump and if we should have helped him and more. I haven't watched the video yet, but this is the first post that happened when Trump tried to say, can anyone help us get the oil tankers through the strip? Will any of our allies come out and help? Surprise, surprise, Albanese didn't help our biggest ally, didn't help us get the oil, and now Trump has come out and said it was just a test anyway to see he would actually help. So that's a really scary fact because who knows what's going to happen in the future. If something goes wrong to Australia and we go, US, we need your help, we're getting bombed, we're getting attacked, are they just going to go, well, you didn't help us? That's what the reality of not sticking up with your allies can lead to. So let's see this post here.
In his post, he wrote, "We no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did. Likewise, Japan, Australia or South Korea, we do not need the help of anyone."
So you can see there, he says, we do not need the help of anyone, especially a country as small as us, as small as Australia. He really doesn't need our help, but it is a test to see who's his allies. And we completely failed this. Australia has failed this. The government has failed this. And I think it's so stupid not sticking up to your allies. And people out there say, oh, well, it's Trump's fault the fuel's expensive. It's Trump's fault the fuel's expensive. It's Albanese's fault that fuel's expensive. It's the Labor government's fault because anything could have happened. Could have been another war like, you know, the Ukraine war. Could have been another pandemic. What would have happened then? Same thing, would have been in a fuel crisis. You cannot blame what's happening overseas for our fuel problems when we could make it all here, but they want to shut down the refineries and then just blame everyone else for that complete failure. So that's just my 2 cents. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but that's fine. We can disagree and move on because regardless of what you think about the oil situation, we need to support America because they're our biggest ally. And whether you like it or not, when shit hits the fan, if we don't have them on our side, we are finished. We are completely done. So let's see what Pauline Hanson had to say about all this.
I want to also ask you about the conflict in Iran. We heard yesterday from Donald Trump really slamming Australia and other allies, claiming that the US no longer wants or even needs their help with the conflict in Iran. What's your response to that?
And we spend more on NDIS fraud than we do on our whole military budget. So you really think we would have been that much help anyway?
We, as Australians, doing enough to help the US?
Look, when you call someone your allies and your mates, that type of thing, you know, and I know the Prime Minister was carrying on, oh, well, we weren't told about this war. Hasn't Trump reached out once before?
To be honest, if Albanese got told about this war, he probably would have called up his contact in Iran and warned them. That's a joke, don't ban me, but come on.
To us for assistance, and yet we did nothing to assist. You know, when you're a mate with someone a close ally, as we are with the deal with AUKUS, then you pick up the phone and you say, listen, mate, is there anything we can do to help or give you support?
Yep.
Has Albanese done that? You know, Trump is trying to get rid of the radical Islam throughout the world. And I think that it's not our problem. It is our problem.
100%.
Because we're taking in refugees from all around Gaza and from these countries. It is going to be our problem in the future if we don't deal with the issue now.
And it's already our problem. Look at all the radicals on the street. Look what's been happening. We just had Bondi Beach. Do you forget that, Albanese? Of course, all you wanted to mention was the far right when that attack happened from that extreme Islamic extremist. And now you want to invite them all into our country after you just got chased out of Lakemba Mosque.
Yes, there were a couple of people who were heckling.
Effective communication with them about the issues of Australian Muslims.
Get him out of here! He's
We as Australian Muslims need to have these deep intellectual discussions.
You still want to pander to these people for 2.5 years. It just doesn't stop. But the reality is, this is what's going on in the country. You're letting radicals in. Trump is trying to stop this radical spreading. And we're not talking about, Muslim faith. We're talking about radicals that literally want to destroy the West, spread their ideologies over here. But Albo invites that in and says, I'm against extremism. Yet he does nothing to stop it.
So, if we're close allies with them, then you stand united together to stamp out the evil that is happening throughout the world.
So the fact...
And it is evil. Like the Iranian dictatorship extremist leader that they took out is evil. He killed tens of thousands of his own protesters on the street, turned off the internet so he could hide it from everyone. If women dance in the street, if people dance in the street, they can get executed. People have to wear burqas. This is extremism to the max. But these woke retards still want to support it and invite it into their country until they're not safe to walk down the street. And then they'll see how much they like it.
That we haven't really offered much support. We're kind of waiting for some request. Are we doing damage here to this relationship with the United States?
And Trump thinks we're a joke already. Like, he didn't speak to Anthony Albanese for months when he got back in power. He didn't want to know him. He knows. He's very smart. He knows he's a woke, bloody radical that doesn't put his own people first. So, of course, he's not going to run to talk to Anthony Albanese.
Look, as Trump has said all along, everyone expects America to come in and fight for them.
Yep.
If we're in trouble here in Australia, who do you think we're going to call on to help us?
Exactly.
Just think about that. Who? There's only one country. It's America.
Yep.
And what have we done to prop up our own defence here in Australia? Albanese keeps saying no more money in defence. It's all right for him to put the billions into...
Because he's got to give it to Lakemba. He's got to give it to the NDIS agents.
Climate change, transmission lines, the Snowy 2 scheme, $40 billion there, or keep propping up scams that go with the NDIS.
Oh, she said it. I haven't watched this. There you go. A politician actually calling out the scamming going on in this country. Wow. This is why Pauline Hanson is the best. She actually addresses the real issues.
At the end of the day, if we're not a nation that can defend ourselves, we've lost our sovereignty and who we are as a nation. And I think we need to take a hard look at ourselves. Wars will continue on throughout the world. We've got to be able to defend ourselves and stand on our own 2 feet. But you need true leadership to do that. Yes, you need your allies by all means. But don't rely on your allies to think they're going to come to your aid every time, because Trump has lost his own citizens in this war as well. I grieve for those families that have lost their loved ones in this war, to stamp out the evil that Iran will impose on the rest of the world if they can.
And they have. How many attacks have we had around the Western world? They sponsored most of the terrorist attacks around the world. On our soil, they've killed Australians. Yet people don't want to stamp out this radical ideology out of the world that's trying to impose itself on our country. People act like it's not our war, it's not our problem, it's not our problem. Well, it is our problem, because we've been affected by that. People like to forget that we just had radical attacks on our beaches and many more. And they're coming in and doing this non-stop and spreading this hatred. Yet people want to pretend it's not happening in Australia. It's happening more than ever. We've seen it. That's why they're bringing out all these speech laws, everything, because it's just ramping up. It's never happened in Australia before. We've never had this division and this divide. It's because people coming here now, a lot of them don't want to be Australian. They don't want to assimilate. They don't want to have these great values. They want to put their religion first. And a lot of them go to the radical side where they want Sharia law. And they want these extreme things like women in burqas, not allowed to do anything, no gay people, they get beaten and killed. All the stuff that apparently left-wing progressive people are meant to care about, then they support the opposite. And right-wing people, normal common sense Aussies, are just trying to warn them what they're allowing to go on in that country. Because it's not going to slow down. It's going to ramp up. And we're letting, like Albanese, letting ISIS brides back in the country. What normal Australian wanted that? You made a law about speech overnight, but you can't make a law to stop Islamic terrorists coming into the country? Or terrorist brides, if you want to be PC or whatever the fuck you want to say. We don't want them here. We don't want them here at all. So it's the complete manipulation of the Albanese government. You know, he only wants to support his agenda. His woke friends Pauline Hanson actually says it like it is. I love she mentioned NDIS fraud. That is amazing. I did not see that coming. So there you go. You know, she's in touch of what's going on in the country. She can see what's going on. No money put into military. We're spending more on fraud in the country than anything. When Trump, America, is going to a war, we don't even offer help. When he asks for help, we still don't offer help. And then if we got bombed, we'd be going, oh, please, America, help us. And he could, with every right, turn around and say, why would I help you? You don't help us. So, you know, all these problems are happening. And it's scary to think if it is a test and something bigger is happening soon, Australia, we are in big trouble, and it's because of this weak leadership that will not stick up for Western values, will not stick up for what's right, and will not stick up for the great cultures we've built all around the world. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Join to be a member if you want to support the channel and get the Australian message out there. Get the Western message out there that we're not laying down and letting our countries get destroyed anymore. We're speaking up for our great culture, our great heritage, and everything we stand for. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you all so much for joining.